be prepared. Make sure that your lamp not only has oil in it, but how many of you have used oil lamps for a period of time? The wick begins to get all burnt off, and the glow of the light dims, and it turns a yellow color. You take a pair of scissors and you trim that wick so that you get a bright glow and you get a more of a white color out of the fire. We want to be glowing for the bridegroom when he comes to get us. We want to make sure that our garments are perfectly clean. There isn't any stuff that would attach itself to us or that we deliberately permit to attach to us, around us. Excuse me. So we need to make sure that we are in preparation. We talked about this last week. Somebody give me some water, please. That we are prepared to meet the bridegroom. It says, then he who sat on the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said to me, write these things, write these words. They are true and they are faithful. Excuse me. And he said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give to a fountain of water of life freely to him. Thank you very much. Who thirsts? I got it. Thank you very much. I got my water. Excuse me, please. If we have a need, and this is referring to, if we have a need, he is going to meet that need. But what do we have to do? The kids in the front row here, when they want something from Papa, they don't walk around like this saying, gee, I wish I could get this, and I wish I could have that. They go to Papa and say, Papa, can I have this? Would you get this for me? Could you fix this for me? Could you take care of this so that Father knows what the need is? We have the right to take the need to the Father and let him know. Give our petitions to him in preparation for that time when we go to that new heaven. It says, he who overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. But listen to this. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderer, the sexually immoral, the sorcerer, the idolaters, and all liars shall have their place in the lake of fire, which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. You know something? There isn't going to be any corruption. Can I use that word? Is that okay? There isn't going to be anything corrupt in God's new heaven, in the holy city, because all of that has gone away. He has done away with it. And as we prepare ourselves, when we go into the presence of the Lord as a bride before the bridegroom, we are going to be spotless. We are going to be blameless. We are not going to be unrighteous. We are going to be righteous in his eyes. The cowardly, I thought about that word, the cowardly, the unbelieving, the person who, and I'm not speaking to anybody in here, but the individual who says, well, maybe there's a God up there. Well, I go to church just to make sure that he doesn't drop any fire and brimstone on me, and when I need something, well, at least I can go to the man and ask him, say, hey man, this is me down here, and well, we haven't talked for about 10 years, but I just need something. So I'm sorry if Lee didn't talk to his dad for about 2 years, and then said, "Hey, Dad, get me a new bicycle," Lee, what do you think would happen? You'd have to make up to Pop pretty much, wouldn't you? You'd have to say, "Hey, Pop, I need to talk to you. We need to get into a relationship again." Then one of the seven angels one of the seven angels with the seven bowls filled with the seven last plagues came to me and took me, and saying, "Come, I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife." And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain. What does that indicate on the holy city? It's going to have mountains. It also indicates that in the 22nd chapter of John, it talks about the river of life that flows out of the throne of God. So there is going to be a river flowing through this New Jerusalem. It is going to have topography, that's the right word. It's not going to be a flat land. It's going to be a very beautiful place. Kevin, have you got that ready? I'm dropping down just a little bit for time constraint here. Now the walls, we're talking about this city, and this is going to be the New Jerusalem. The walls of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of 12 apostles, the apostles of the Lamb. And he who talked with me had a golden rod or a golden reed to measure the city, its gates, and its walls. The city is laid as a square. Its length is as great as its breadth. And he's measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs, 1,500 miles. Now, I asked Kevin to put this together, and I really appreciate that he's done a great job. To give you an idea of how big the holy city is, if you look at this, the holy city goes from Miami, Florida, all the way up into Canada, across to where Salt Lake City is, and then back down to go into Mexico and across. That's how big the holy city is going to be. I thought, that is no little city when it takes up over half of our continent in its size alone. It says its length and breadth and its height are equal. So that means not only is it 1,500 miles wide and 1,500 miles long, it's 1,500 miles high. 1,500 miles, most of our jet aircraft fly at about 35,000 feet. 35,000 feet gives us just about 5.5 miles up. This is 1,500 miles up. Gives you an idea of the height of the city. Now, the city has got 12 foundations. Now, I've written down all of these foundations, what they are. And it's interesting that each of the foundation stones is a beautiful, precious stone. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but the first stone, or the first foundation, is a jasper. It is a bluish white, and it is most common found in the eastern area of the world. The second foundation is a sapphire, which is a dull, milky veined, very valuable gemstone. And it goes down to, can you imagine? Think for just a moment. This is just the holy city.